Well, let me share with you a meeting I went to last night on a topic called accessory dwelling units. And this is really, to me, it's where the small investor, the investor that's very little money and wants to get into real estate, man, this is a way to do it. And it's something brand new. It's not everywhere in the country, but it's going to grow. Sort of like what happened to Airbnb, one of these new things that now are just exploding. I mean, Airbnb now is the biggest hotel chain in the country, and they don't even own a room. They just use other people's rooms. So this is how to be a real estate investor in your backyard. And the seminar I went to last night is this company here. There's their Facebook ad. It's Elviro. I don't even know how to say the company, but they build these little tiny houses in people's backyards to make money. And you can build a house for like $50,000 to $100,000. Yeah, they're small, but in big cities, this is important. And laws are changing in all the cities to do this because there's not enough housing, and people are living in neighborhoods where they bought the house 50 years ago and paid $30,000. Now it's a $500,000 house, and they can't afford the taxes. So you can throw one of these in the backyard and make money at it, and it pays all your taxes, and more. And actually, because it's so small and the mortgage is so small, and you build it on property that's already taxed, it's next to nothing. You could buy a unit. So like in Washington, D.C. here, you could have a unit made in your backyard, for 50 to 60, 70, $80,000. Yeah. And if you, like a studio apartment, and if you bought a studio apartment, it costs you not, $60,000, $70,000, it would cost you $300,000. So now, see, with that in your backyard, what you're able to do is there are government programs that are looking to put people into dwellings in your backyard or anywhere and pay you. So there's programs in Washington, D.C. here for veterans and people who need emergency housing. They give you $1,200 a month. Okay, $1,200 a month, to pay the rent for somebody to live there, and the government pays the whole rent. And your mortgage on this small thing, it'll cost you maybe $400. So now you have $800 of pure income coming in on something like this. Or another thing you could use it. What's happening is an Airbnb. So you have a place now that's not part of your house or anything like that, to do with to rent and put it on Airbnb. And like in Washington, D.C., the average Airbnb makes like $200, $250 a night. That's why it's crazy here. So you have an extra room, that's what you're making. So if you have a separate little apartment in your backyard, $200 a night or whatever, that's just 2 days, and you paid off your mortgage, right? So it's crazy, and this is a developer. You got to learn about this thing. I got to learn the rules where you are, and maybe a good way to start is this company, ELUVIAL Construction. Now they're in Washington, D.C. I don't know how many other cities they're doing that in, but they're nice, down-to-earth people. Don't really look like sharky people. There may be cheaper ways to do all this, but to find someone who's organized this, to see all the problems. They had their big, where to get the financing and everything like that. And people want to put a little apartment in the backyard for their mother-in-law or something like that. That's another thing to do. But as a source of income, see, we don't have enough housing, particularly in the big cities, and housing's going crazy. So if every single family house was able to have another house, that's double the housing, right? So that means, we solve a lot of housing problems like this. So this is a way, to solve our housing. Housing is going skyrocketing. Why? Because there's not enough of it, right? So if we increase the supply, and that's why cities now are changing the laws in the city where you could have 3 houses on your lot, not just one. You can put another house on top. And actually, you can make 2 condos out of this, because actually they're made with containers, those big containers they ship around, or they take, almost pretty new ones of these, and they fix it up as an apartment. They put down a slab of cement and they put it in, they electrify it, and all the stuff you need, to comfortably live in. And micro living like that is big. Actually, we're doing it now, moving from a big house to micro living downtown Washington D.C. because we like the excitement of a city. So that's what's growing. And actually, things are happening in cities. Like here, I'm going out every night and finding a new way to make money like this to share with you guys. And it's really because I live in the city and things like that. This is why most jobs are being created in this city. So if you don't live in the city, you really have to get connected to what's growing. See, things like this, what's interesting and important to me is that these are growing places. If you're going into traditional real estate investing, that's steady. That's been the same thing for 80 years, right? So everybody, you now need a PhD to get involved in that, and $5 million and everything. Here, you just need a backyard. So use your own backyard or somebody else's backyard. See, this is another way to do it. You learn this system, and how to do this, and find people, who want to make money in the backyard. So even if you don't have a backyard, you do a deal with somebody else. Hey, I'll share the profit with you. Now, see, instead of going around and buying property to put this on, no, you find somebody else has that, do it, and you do the first couple like that with somebody else. Hey, I see how to do this now. And you help somebody else, learn, and you learn without having zero investment to do this. And that's what's exciting to me. And this is new, it's growing. So when things are growing, there's no rules, very few rules, because nobody knows how it's done yet. So everybody's guessing, and you don't need a PhD. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need any of these kinds of things. And that's what's fun about this, if you're in a growth area. So this is, to me, one of those new growth areas. Now there's cities. I mean, it's things like this. Like actually, Los Angeles was giving $75,000 grant for you to do this. Wow. Yeah, I think they ran out of money. I don't know if they're going to do it again next year. But these are the kind of, Minneapolis now just changed their laws that you can have 3 houses on your lot. Wow. So you go to people that don't want to bother with this. Hey, let me do all the work and we'll split the money because we'll use your land. And that's another hustle that you could do and make money out of this. See, there's always ways to do it, and there's always ways to do it without any money. And that's what I'm trying to do at Lesko Help. So if you join there, I'll show you ideas like this and then ways to use government programs, because here's how you use this government program. You build this and then use a government program that gives you rent. So your tenant, somebody pays for them, the government, and they're not going away, most likely, right? Your tenant may maybe have a bad day, a bad month, they can't pay. But the government, man, they got so much money, they just go down basement and print some more. So that's a good deal. And government's trying to solve these housing problems, and so you're coming up with a new, inexpensive way to create housing, and that's a big thing. So we have education, housing, and healthcare are the 3 trifectas in our world, and that's why there's so many programs involved in all these kinds of things, and they're little things like this that develop. These are little sprouts that are going to grow. So let me help you keep it on top of these. And you can ask me a question 24/7. I'll send you a report. Actually, I have 17, 18 reports now. I'll give you automatically, just download, sign up, the $20 fee. You get 17 reports on anything, how to retire in 3 years, or how to solve your debt problems, or get rid of your student loan debt, or start a business, start a nonprofit, anything you want. And I show you all the best. See, all the sources I'm going to show you are people that give you money, not people that take your money. That's what you find in Google, people who want to take your money. I'm going to show you people that give your money. Now, how is that? That's a hell of a deal. That's even better. Well, actually, it's mostly government, so I can't say that. Thanks for putting up with me. I enjoy doing this and enjoy sharing the information, because it's find out what's going on in life. There's so many cool things to try to do. If you sit and just read the old garbage everybody else does, you'll think it's the end of the world. No, it's the beginning of a new world. And you can be part of it, because nobody's controlling anything. So get in there and find out what's for you.